Hello everyone, I am Alyan and welcome back to the show. Today we have a very special guest. He is a creator, a thinker, and a very fun person. Please welcome Mr. Eric, also known as Mr. Light. Eric, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. Well, as I said, I am very full of care and with intent.
Okay, so Mr. Eric, before moving on the question, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Erik Paul Shields, which actually means sovereign, modest shelters. And I believe I embody that in everything that I am and do.
Okay, thank you so much. So my first question is, you go by both Mr. Eric and Mr. Light. So can you walk us through the story behind the second name and what it means to you?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, it's a love story. Light is actually the combination of someone that I love dearly and I have embodied as part of who I am. And Agythe and that name create light, which is Laghyte. And Agythe is who I am, who I created as as a like an online name. It started out as a gaming thing. It turned into who I was. Some people know me as Agythe, and they speak to me as as my name is Agythe. I used to have a tagline. I'm Agythe. It's like an agate with a lith. And then more is healed is that same love. Their last name literally means dark, and my last name is Shields. So the combination, a shelter within the dark. So more is healed. So that's it in a nutshell. It's a love story.
Okay, thank you so much for this answer. So sir, what does ReKidD-In mean and what inspired you to start that movement?
Can you say that again?
Yeah, I can say, and you also can see my question in screen as well. So my
Oh,
question
there
is,
we
what
go.
does
Yeah, it's so tiny on the screen. Yeah. So
okay?
okay. So what does re-kidding mean? Well, re-kidding is the whole concept of us returning to our child that we design from within ourselves. So we are the child that we design through our choices, our perspective, our beliefs, what the mind of man can conceive and believe it will achieve. And so it is, yeah. And
Okay, thank
what started it? It's a school similar to Rihan. It's not the exact same thing. It's actually the faculty and the students are one and the same. So everyone learns from each other, and everyone is a teacher because I believe the only way to actually teach is to learn. And the real way to learn is to attempt to teach your perspective because you can have an opinion. You can tell people, oh, yeah, this is what I believe, this is that, whatever. Are you able to explain it? Are you able to tell them why? Because that is when you start to learn about yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much for this wonderful answer, sir. So your bio filled with reinvented but like insane WIRD disputed able and life I said, and what did language come from and why is redefining what's so important to you?
Okay, so reinvented is actually the funny thing about that. We actually, as humans, have reinvented what words mean because originally they meant something completely different. And we decided that they mean something, for whatever reason, things get lost in translation. Etymology is the study of the origin of words. And I absolutely love that. So actually I'm speaking the truth. I'm not reinventing anything. So insane, I'm gonna answer this with a question. What is insane to you? Like what's your perspective of what insane is?
So I think the the things look difficult to the things I want to do is difficult for me, so it will be insane for me.
Okay. So is something different? Is that what you said?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, any of my perspectives aren't necessarily right or even wrong. I haven't figured out what that is. Like, I haven't figured out what's right and wrong in life, and I don't know if we ever will. Yes, there are choices that have consequences that can appear good or bad. It's how we perceive it. It's how we choose to take it in a certain way. So, insane, the word in sane, sanity comes from within us. So
Okay.
the word weird, WYRD, is the origin of weird, WEIRD, which is literally to mean fate, wisdom, or guidance. And I am a guy and I like to dance. So I like to play with words. Um, disrupted abled is because people say disabled, and I have had that label. I've had a number of labels. I believe that's all they are. They're just labels, and you can rewrite labels. You can literally take off a label and change it and put it back on, and it's the same thing or even different. You just reframe it or whatever. So disrupted abled is the truth. Disabled, usually people think, oh, there's something wrong, there's there's an issue, oh, they aren't able to, and people have said, oh, I'm differently abled. I'm like, okay, it's not disabled. I'm disabled. No, I'm sorry, it's disabled. So it made me go, okay, what is dis? What could it be? It could be a number of things. And I was thinking distant, it's that doesn't make sense. Disrupted is, it could sound like a negative thing, but it's actually not. You were disrupted from your original abilities from child. And so you are able to reform your abilities. So actually, the disabled, I believe, have a way better advantage than people who have never experienced being disabled. Um, it can be difficult with a lot of different things. I've been in a wheelchair before. I've had multiple things that have happened, and so I have experienced that spectrum of things. So disrupted abled gives me my power back, and anyone who decides to do it, because everything's a choice. And Life-Icide, suicide, is a big thing. In fact, 2026 was the biggest year. Like, we had a spike, and um, I have had a tendency since childhood to take responsibility for something that's not even mine. And one of the things I did was I took responsibility for people killing themselves, because I'm like, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to in life, and it's increasing. If that's not decreasing, I'm not doing something right. There's something that I need to work on. So I created a nonprofit, which is another choice. It's Life-Icide. The whole concept is that life is the choice, and it's not because it's, it's selfish to kill yourself. I've had many close companions that have decided to make that choice, and it was very hard. I didn't want them to do it, of course, but um,
Okay, thank you so much for this great answer. So, Paradox Engines turned 38 years old this year. So, back in 1987, what sparked the decision uh, to create it?
okay, so Paradox Engines is humanity. We are the engine of paradox, because we contradict ourselves. We believe things are right when they're wrong. We believe they're wrong when they're right. They're good. They're bad. It gets crazy. So Paradox Engines puts that whole concept into a simple label. um, and I'm just the source, it's far older because humanity has been around way more than 38 years. I just named it. I don't believe that we own business. I believe we are businesses we choose to own. So I just show what's always been. And the decision was because my soul wished to make a bridge into realities and perspectives. So that's basically why.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer. So, for someone who is discovering Paradox Engine for the first time, how would you explain what it is and what does it do?
Well, and what does it do? Is that what you say? Oh yeah, and what does it do? It's life. Paradox engines is the whole concept is we are the engine of paradox, the contradictions, and being able to navigate that, because there's no place right now, there hasn't been, except for us, to be able to figure out what that is while you're growing and while you're learning and being able to create an income and being able to learn without having any experience, and create experience and see how valuable you are just by being alive. I mean, we won the greatest race just by being here. Trillions of DNA it took for us to be here. And so we won a lottery already. So I don't know why everybody wants to win the lottery, but I've been there, so I get it. um, but it births many businesses. And again, we don't own business. We are businesses we choose to own.
Yeah, thank you so much for your answer, sir. So, you create across both paradoxengine.com and paradoxengines.game. How do those two sites connect creatively and philosophically?
Okay. So it's a little bit of a typo. It's paradoxengines.com. But that may have been my error. And then paradoxengine.games. Yeah, it's funny because they actually came before and after. So they're like create, because time isn't linear in my world. So um, the games is basically in my first cycle. I like to say, my age between 1 and 9. My mother asked me what I wanted to be as a career, and I took that literal. I went, oh, I want to be a game designer. I'm going to be a game studio. Like, I've just decided that. And literally the next day, I met a gentleman who created EB Worlds, and this was before it came out. Like, I think over a decade before it was released to the public and everything, because he gave me on accident. At least I think it's an accident. I don't think because he said he had a copy, so I don't think he would have given me the master copy. But his master copy had all of his videos of him literally building the thing. So I got to learn, and I didn't know how to read at the time. So I got to learn all of the stuff on how it was built. So not just how to build the games that he wanted to create for kids to be able to do it, before that was even a freaking thing. And I met him just walking home from school. He was at his nephew's house. They were visiting for something. And then I told him I'm a game designer, and he was like, how? And I said, I don't know. I'm like, I'm working that out. And he's like, well, what are you doing right now? I'm like, well, I draw on my papers at school, and I play games outside. I have an active imagination. And he's like, you are a game designer. Okay, here. So he gave me the disc. And then my sister and I created Fred the Mouse, because I was showing her, I was teaching, I was learning. And that's kind of where that concept came from that I learned. I was learning, but she wanted to know what the heck I was doing because she'd never seen that before. And so we just drew a little thing, and it was an accident. And Bob Ross, happy little accidents. So it became a mouse, and then I gave it a little tail, and it moved around the screen. So it was fun, and that's actually I'm working on reviving Fred the Mouse because it got lost in life.
Thank you for this wonderful answer. So, across nearly 4 decades, what's been biggest in reinvention of paradox engines?
Oh, the reinvention. It's interesting that you say that because it's been called a lot of things. Engine Paradox Shields, Shields Forge, Aether Grid, Ethereal Light Studios, and then Paradox Engines is what I decided. And I was working with a lot of different people, and there were actually a lot of other names too that just didn't make the cut. Those were all the ones that I attempted to do certain things, and it wasn't always that. Like I mean, I did game design, and graphics, art, 3D animation for other game companies. I worked in other things, sales and stuff. And so I attempted to put it into all these different categories until I've created my own category.
Okay, that's interesting. So, you described yourself as a disturbed able instead of disabled. What changes when you frame it that way?
So you said disturbed abled. You meant disrupted, but I love it because disturbed abled is perfect. We're all disturbed abled, I think, because our abilities come from a disruption of that which we think is, it's basically my original abilities that were out of my control and put on pause, and I just reframed them and took them back because we nobody has the power to do anything to us. We have all the power, and we give it away often. I have noticed from my perspective, I've seen people giving away their power. They get offended by all kinds of things, and it's like, I can't offend you unless you want me to. Like, if you give me your power, okay, I'll take it and I'll utilize it, because obviously you're not. And that kind of sounds like an arrogant thing to say, but it's like, what are we doing? Are we going to get offended by everything? I've been there. I get it. I have felt hurt. My feelers get hurt, just like I'm human. I'm not an artificial intelligence. I'm an authentic intuitive. So there's a huge difference.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer. So the phrase "we are life," I said, really stand out almost the opposite of suicide. What philosophy lives inside that idea?
It's more than just an opposite. It's another choice. It's just another choice, because what has been the choice recently? Like, they've got suicide hotlines, they've got mental hospitals, they've got places that literally just perpetuate the thing. And it's like, it's funny too, because a lot of them return to you being a child. They're like, you get to color and you get to do this. And I didn't disagree with it, but I recognize, I'm like, why is that what is literally being, and then we're not allowed to use our devices either while we're there. And they let you listen to music, kind of, depending on what it is, because they don't let you listen to everything. So Life-Icide is experiencing death through life, because when we let go of who we thought we were before, and become who we originally were from birth, because we're all unique, we're all different. And it's interesting that we're like trained to become each other. For instance, with you, I shared my perspective of what you could do to advertise things, because I'm very good at advertising and marketing and things, and I gave that to you, but you made it your own. And that's the point. people think, oh, I have to listen to what they've done because they've come from something that I haven't. And it's like, yes and no. I mean, eat the meat, spit out the bones. Take the bits that work for you for who you are. Definitely listen to people. Like, recognize that they may know something you don't. And I noticed that you did that, and that's great. This is your journey, and I'm just happen to be a fork on your road. You get to choose if you want to walk it. I'm not going to force you to walk it.
Yeah, thank you so much for this. So you describe your education as the school of life. What's something life taught you that no traditional classroom ever could?
What did life teach me that public school didn't, basically? Well, I was an FD student. And when I did get all A's at one point and then one D because of a teacher's choice, but that's neither here nor there. That's a story. But it's true. I mean, it happened. So I recognized there was no difference. It was like I didn't get anything different. Like, I was still treated the same by people. My status didn't change just because my grades went up. I didn't even get what I was told that I would get if my grades got better. So I was like, well, this kind of seems pointless. What's the point? So I wasn't really rebellious per se, but I did I did notice things that a lot of people don't, and it bothered me, and it caused me to do a lot of different things. And being taught nothing that you really will use in life, like they don't teach finance, which you have to have. You have to know this. And I had to go and work for other people to learn that, and go into insurance companies and learn the behind the scenes, how things really work, and then join different cultured businesses to see the way that they did things and stuff. So like life was my school, and so I chose a plethora of different perspectives. So perspective, honestly, school doesn't teach you perspective. They teach you one perspective, the way to make others money, not yourself, which is why I love Rehan's school, is because he does the opposite.
And thank you so much for this, sir. So what's something you are building or exploring right now that most exciting for you?
Say that again. Okay, what's something you're building? Oh, what am I building right now? Well, Echo Your Eternity is one of the games that Paradox Engine games it has. You can go on the website and take a look. I'm also working on website stuff as well, and I have a connection with Biru as well. I can post a link to that as well, because they build websites and things like you do as well with your Agent R, but they have the use of doing certain things with that as well on top of. So it's like you two coincide together, which I'd love to introduce you to him. If so did I answer the question? Yeah. So that's what's
Yeah.
exciting me the most. Creating other founders, assisting founders to find their path, like you, and like the many that I work with, and I talk to, and I communicate and I create with. They enhance what I'm already doing, and then I find who's already doing it, and then I go, okay, is it working now? Great, fantastic. Will it work in 20 years? I don't even know if some of these businesses are going to work in 2 months, let alone 20 years, because of the technology that's happening. And so I've always been able to learn something new because things are weird, and I follow the weird. Things happen, and a lot of people fight it, and it's like they want it to be their way. and the weirdness that's happening with technology or with your experience or people or anything like that. It's all feedback. That's all it is. We're just getting feedback about ourselves. Do we want to keep being the person that we're being? Or would we like to be, because everyone we come in contact with is who we were, who we are, or who we're choosing to be. And that last one, that one's a double-edged sword. Because you can revert back to bad patterns. And were they bad patterns? I don't know. I really don't know. Nie znayo, as the Russians say. I don't know.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer, sir. So my last question is, if people leave this conversation remembering just one idea from you, what do you hope it is?
One idea?
Yeah.
We were never human doings. We were always human beings. So human means God's hand. So pick up something and create what I am is.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Eric. Before saying goodbye, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for your time and your honest word and your beautiful heart. This was not just interview. Was a real conversation, and I learned a lot from you. Thank you so much for this. Thank you.
Greatly appreciate you. It was a wonderful and gratitude, and you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much.